Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now we are getting ready to change the calendar over from February to March, but before we do, we must, as we always do a Q&A. So the ruler goes up, you drop your questions down below, and I just go through them from the order they came in. So we're talking about everything from any trips that I might have planned, the best cashback system out there. Someone has the audacity to just claim that Amex is the best card issuer, so we are definitely going to address that. And of course, much more. So chapters 2 will be down below for you. So go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to it. So batting leadoff, we have Chad's Money Minutes here. All right, so RJ loves the show. Thank you very much. My question would be, how likely do you think it would be for Chase to revamp or maybe overhaul the Sapphire Reserve in the face of other premium cards that have pushed it towards the out of the gotta have it line, like the Venture X and the Platinum card? So I think they'll refresh it, but I think it'll be more so an excuse to get more money, right? I think the Platinum moved up a level. The Platinum and the Sapphire Reserve are always a really bad comparison. I know they're both, the only reason we compare them is because they're just both companies' flagship cards. Platinum, Sapphire Reserve do two different things. The Sapphire Reserve and the Preferred are meant to kind of unify the Chase ecosystem and cross-sell things. The Platinum is really meant to be this symbol of, certain type of lifestyle type deal than anything else. It's not, you can cross-sell, but you can see Chase has always been much more of a cross-seller. So they're different cards to begin with, but when someone charges $700 and we're so bent on comparisons, why not? So you also have to wonder what Citi's going to do, right, with their Strata cards that are, we've seen the trademark filings for, so there's that. So maybe you lay out a little bit, see what Citi's going to do, and then how hard you have to go, on your next thing. But I said it before, I think, it's never really felt right at $550. They've refreshed it basically twice, the initial price change and then the overhaul when the Sapphire Preferred got overhauled. I think you go a few different ways. They have partnerships with the hotels too. Hyatt, Marriott, United, the JP Morgan Reserve has United Club access, but it's only a few dollars more. It's supposed to be exclusive. You could go that way, IHG, but then the problem is, all those hotel statuses now I'm devalued because you just kind of gave it away. Because there's so many Sapphire cards out there. I think the answer is copy Citi. Really, the Citi Premier is one of the best cards out there. It's just, it's a little too expensive because their hotel credit is stingy, right? You got to do a $500 stay to trigger their hotel credit, which would technically cover the whole annual fee of $95 on that card. But what they do exceptionally well is they have the core multipliers. And what Chase doesn't get enough criticism for, and maybe I'm guilty of it because I talk about them a lot, is that they hide behind the Freedom Flex and the OG Freedom when it comes to core earning multipliers. You can get two back on the Ink Cash for gas, sure, but they hide from gas, they hide from groceries. Yes, you can get online groceries with the Sapphire Preferred, but they hide from that, as where Citi just has those all at 3x back on their card. I think that's the model. Now, of course, you do that, get us out of being totally attached to the travel portal, then I think you're there. But you're probably talking about a $650 card. But again, all the cards have gone up. The Marriott card was now $650, the top tier one. So I think it will happen, but it'll be more of a money grab than anything else. But those are some of the things I think they could do to make it worth it, honestly. So there we go. All right, PG here. What's your next big points travel redemption? Any vacation spots you're eyeing out? No, for right now, I'm cash back. I've never been a vacation person. I've never been one to book a vacation. Everywhere I've gone is a tag along. Someone can't get anyone else to go, so yeah, sure, I'll go. But generally, I go places so I can say I've been places, not because I want to go to the place. At some level, I'm perfectly content just sitting here on the internet for hours, or going to the gym for 2 hours. That's fine to me. But you ever meet those people who've never gone anywhere? It's kind of weird. So I'm yeah, I've been to Seattle, I've been to the Space Needle thing, right? I've been up there. Was it worth $100 they charge you to get in there? God, no. But I've done it, and that's why it costs $100. So I'm more of a go places like that. So there's nowhere I'm I should go here, I want to go here. It gets really cold here. There was just an ice storm the other day. I've never once felt oh man, I just really got to get some sun. It's not me. So no, I don't really have anything planned at the moment. Something will probably come up. Honestly, I get invited somewhere or whatever. So just cash back. Plus, I cashed out all my points at the end of the year anyways. I like to cash out my points at the end of the year. I don't like to let them sit there too long. It's risky. The banks can do who know what with them. You definitely don't earn your points, and they're valueless until you cash them out anyway. So I don't have anything to... I have 100,000 Sky Miles, I think. I could do that. But for right now, just cash back. All right. Caesar here. why Amex is the best card issuer in the market. Who decided that? You wrote this just so I would do this very rant. I mean, when did we get together? I was not invited to this meeting. The same way I said Chase, just a while back, they hide behind, their rotating category cards. Amex does the same thing. So I think they're 1 or 1A, depending on what you want to do between Amex and Chase. But Amex is just as guilty of hiding behind things. There's no downgrade path, right? That's a big one. Their cards are expensive. The Platinum card is a very flawed card that no one talks about. I'm not even talking about the coupons, right? 5x back on airlines directly is great. It gives you 5x back on hotels if you go through the portal, which is fine, except it also gives you hotel status between Hilton and Marriott. But you know who doesn't like to honor status if you go through a travel portal? Hilton and Marriott. So, I mean, come on. It's like you're picking one benefit or the other. That's not great. They don't have a wide range of categories covered between their core MR earning cards. The best catch-all they have on the personal side is going to be 1x back. Yes, you can get the Blue Business Plus card for 2x, but people don't know that. You know that. I know that. The regular person will why would I get a business card? I'm not a business, right? So that's a big gap. So really, they've got airlines, they've got restaurants, and they've got groceries, which are three really big categories. So they kind of do the opposite of what Chase does. They're we'll give you the big ones, but, everything else, I don't know what to tell you. They're redeeming, the limitation of redeeming MR points is silly. Even if you get their bank account, which I have, it's 0.8 cents. So I think they're still flawed, honestly. But they limit you to 5 credit cards. But again, I don't know if you really want more than 5 credit cards of theirs, honestly. So, I don't think they're the best issue. I think Chase and Amex are very flawed issuers that we just kind of make do with because they have really competitive cards depending on what you're trying to go after. Chase is a points earning machine. They don't care what you do. That's why I favor them. Buy gift cards to your heart's content. I have 4 Freedom cards. They don't care at all. Amex, not so much. But if you want that type of travel, you want those lounges, they are the best for lounge access. So the Venture X is getting closer depending on what they do with their own lounge network. Then Amex would be the best because you can still earn on your top core categories. I do like their transfer partners better, but even then, some of their transfer partners, like Delta points, I really only get 1.2 cents when I do it, usually, historically, because I've checked. It's not amazing, but it's fine because it's Delta, and most people like Delta, because you're in Delta Hub. So, I don't know. I think you got what you wanted from that question, though, which is a lengthy rant about why they're good, not great. But that's the same with Chase. They're good, not great. They're just so much better than everyone else. Citi is the closest, in my opinion, and they don't even care. So, there's that. All right. Rant over. Next up, a relationship question. All right. On which date is it okay to ask them to be your player 2? How do you ask? Well, you should ask somebody else. But since you did ask me, here we go. The gist of the show, as I sit alone and talk to myself, I think so what? In the beginning, you'd be going on, probably 1 date a week, something like that. And then over the course of maybe 4 to 6 weeks, it would probably ramp up. And once you get out of hey, we have to do something cool all the time, to maybe we're just hanging out, then I think you just go for it. I'd say the 4 to 6 week range is probably fine. I think the most part is if the other person likes you, they're probably going to be flattered and complimented anyways if you ask them. I don't really like a lot of games, and I'll be blunt and to the point. You can be, more romantic about it than that, but, you can just what's the old Boondocks line? It's I like you and I want you. Probably don't do that. But it would be funny. I think you just ask, hey, where, I'm all in on this. Want to see if you're all in on this. Want to make you my player 2. There you go. Probably don't use player 2, but I think that's how you do it, and that's probably your time range. But people who are married or have long-term player 2s probably give this person some advice, I would imagine, because, I don't know. There's 4 girls watch it, or 4 women watch this show, too. So if you're watching, sound off down below. All right. DJ here. Hey, RJ, I'm 724, and I'm not planning on getting any Chase cards anytime soon. Should I just go hard and get a ton of no annual fee cards with sign-up bonuses? That's fine. If you're done with Chase, why not? I think you know all the cards that Chase has. Yeah, eventually they'll make another one, but, what are the chances it's one that you really want or have to have? The only thing I would say, business cards are better for bonus hunting, in my opinion. That's kind of what I'm doing right now, just bonus hunting through business cards. It's more spend, but it's also more, more money to be had. I guess, I don't mind credit inquiries and hard pulls so much as some people do, so I wouldn't mind, but I don't know if I also want to bury myself down below, like getting here's an active cash, and then here's another $200 bonus, another $200 bonus. So maybe it sounds like you might be cash back because you just want bonus hunting, but maybe you just want to look and see what can build out the best cash back setup for you. Let me get the autograph card or the custom cash card and be a little bit more intentional with the cards you pick, but I see no reason to not do that. I mean, we can't live in fear of 524, so by all means, good hunting. All right, next up, how long should I wait until I get the Sapphire Preferred? Right now, the roadmap is Freedom Flex. I already got punctuation, man. I already have to get the CFU maybe next year, and then end goal is to get the Sapphire Reserve, then go on the Amex Trifecta. So I assume, so a few things, he says 18, so I feel like, so you couldn't have the Sapphire Preferred and the Reserve, so I'm assuming you can get the Preferred and then upgrade to the Reserve, perhaps. So I think we got some things to figure out. So first of all, timeline. I think depending on what your credit situation is right now, maybe you're an authorized user, you have some built up. You should probably be able to get a Freedom card, I would think, depending on where you're at. If not, there's always a Freedom student just to start a relationship with. But I think the issue right now is, the sign-up bonuses are pretty much the same. So I'd get the first card, Freedom Flex, and then once you've run through that sign-up bonus, then maybe it's time to get the Freedom Unlimited. I don't even think you really have to wait a year unless you're a brand, like you have no credit, you weren't an authorized user or anything like that. Then maybe waiting a year would be a good idea. I'm with you on that one. For the Sapphire Preferred, Chase tends to show favoritism to that card, so I'd keep an eye on the bonus, honestly. But you're probably talking about the following year, so not 2023, but maybe 2024, when you've established you had your first, first card for a year. Then after that, I think the road opens right up. Before you run off into Amex land, though, I'd plan out that one. I mean, again, we talked about it, my biggest rant about Amex. Amex is expensive. If you want to go preferred to reserve, you're going to have a lot of overlap, if you want to get into the platinum, which is generally the first Amex card you want to get, because they usually have that high targeted offer for folks who are brand new to the system. So I would probably stay in Chase land as long as possible to max that stuff out, honestly, and then not worrying so much about Amex right away. But again, I don't know what you're doing for work, but 22, you can still be a student. I think Amex might be a little bit harder to swing, but I think Chase is a good learning ground. Get your cards. I like your roadmap where it's at. Keep it in, after the first year, keep it in pencil. Then I kind of more so say, okay, I might want the preferred here, but if they pop a $80K offer, then I'm going to get it here as opposed to out here, so long as I'm in a decent spot to get it. But I'd say, yeah, one Freedom Flex, keep it 1 year. Then after that, I think it opens right up to the Freedom Unlimited, and then the Sapphire Preferred or Reserve, depending on what offer that they have going. So there you go. Think about Amex, or maybe I turned you off with the Amex rant earlier. All right, Boxer Kid. My question is, Amex bank account any good? Is Amex bank account any good? Just put money in there, not to touch for 2 to 3 years. Or is there a better bank account you recommend? Also, real question, are you team Xbox, PlayStation? On top 3 games, your favorite console? All right. No, I mean, so if you're just looking, I have the Amex business checking account. I have it as my real LLC business account. So for that purposes, for being able to pay myself, it's fine for me. If you're just saying, hey, I'm parking money over there, then no, you can do a lot better. I don't even know the APY off the top of my head, but it depends on how far you want to get with it. So first of all, you can do a few things. You can check out my second channel, it's Run on the Bank, where you can just move that money around, and then you'll get bank bonuses and things like that. You could, if you're just parking it. I saw a bank the other day, or credit union, I think, that has like a 6% CD and up to like $50,000 cap for like 11 months, 6% CD. So you look for things like that. That's going to be the highest you're gonna get if you maxed it out. I mean, I don't think you're going to max it out, but if you could, more power to you. It's like $3,000 if you max it out for those 11 months. Ally's pretty high. SoFi is good. Capital One, just your basic higher APYs. And then after that, there are a lot of credit unions out there that the Dr. Credit posts on that you won't have heard of, but as long as they're FDIC insured, you can get 4.5%, 5% on up to a certain balance tier usually. So if your goal is just risk-free return via interest, then I probably wouldn't roll with the Amex bank account. You could do much better putting in a real high yield account. You're gonna have to look around. You're gonna have to be a little bit comfortable with like banks you've never heard of. But as long as it's FDIC insured, it's fine. And I do this too. I open, again, a ton of accounts, or you can do the bank bonus thing and just kind of keep moving your money account to account, things like that over this course of time, taking the bank bonuses and building your bankroll higher. So, but other than that, I mean, Amex functionally is fine. I just don't think it's going to be as competitive with the other ones, especially if you're just going to leave it. Then I'm honestly risk-free CD. That 6% CD is probably it. It's like Security Plus Federal Credit Union, I think was the name. All right, I'm Team Xbox. I started out as PlayStation for a long time. We had PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and then like PlayStation 3 came along. I think it was just more expensive, and so we went Xbox as a child. It was my brother and I. We had to share one. You don't get two. Now everyone has two, but it's how we switched. We're big Halo fans, so we switched to Xbox, the giant black one, the first one, when Halo 2 came out. I'm still Team Xbox to this day for like one real reason. I think the controller is better. Fight me on it. I don't care. The controller is better. I understand DualShock, DualSense, whatever it does. It may have more technology, but just holding the controller with the off-centered analog sticks is better for me, especially playing shooting games and things like that. So I like Halo's an all-timer. I mean, newer Halo is kind of not as good. I would say Gears of War is underrated. The first three especially. No one talks about that. Carried the Xbox 360. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, I played that. That was a good one. It's an underrated series as well. But I was going to say God of War is up there as well. My brother has that. He came home. He brought his entire PlayStation with him. God of War would be a good one example for PlayStation. But those are mine. I play one game at a time. I'm too old to learn all the buttons. So Halo, Gears of War, Mass Effect, Grand Theft Auto, of course. That's a good series usually. God of War is up there. Fallout 3 or 4, I can't remember. The one where you were in DC. So things like that. Those are all good games. I don't play a ton anymore. Usually, I play one game at a time. But there you go. Team Xbox. Plus, it's black. Like, the PlayStation's ridiculous. Like, why is this weird white color? It's massive. Anyways. All right. Red Sox Nation here. Hey, RJ, with the baseball season upon us, what is your current assessment outlook of your 2023 Detroit Tigers? For you, this is a pretty tame question. I don't know much. I mean, I know we have Cabrera. He still plays. I can't name a ton of people. I used to be a really big fan. I'm a bandwagon fan. So it was like in the mid-2000s, like we got good. We had like that terrible run. We lost the most games ever. And then we signed like Pudge Rodriguez as the catcher. Then we loaded up and we made a few World Series runs, I think. That was a fan then. Considering all the news, the local affiliate hits are just, the new GM and whatever saying, we're rebuilding and whatever. I'm going to say it's not good. Probably won't be another great year. So, you guys will probably do much better. I don't know much about baseball, but everyone over here is just still like riding the Lions high. Yeah, they missed the playoffs, but they turned that last game of the year into like a Super Bowl where like we kept Aaron Rodgers out of the playoffs. So like that's a moral victory somehow. So not good. But yeah, I used to be a fan. I don't know much about it anymore. But probably not good. So, all right, here we go. Michael Keaton himself. Do you see yourself getting back into the travel card game, maybe Amex? I know your team cash back right now. Well, I got an Amex card, but it was a Blue Business Cash. I don't know. I mean, the thing about the travel game is that to get the travel cards beyond the sign-up bonus, you have to care about the perks that they offer, right? So, yeah, I mean, if I was going someplace and I was a trip plan, back to our earlier question, because I don't really plan trips or anything, but if I did and I knew I was going to go someplace, then, yeah, I would get travel cards to get those points, rack them up. Because, again, my goal is to just not pay cash. But long term, like I don't really stay at places. I'm too cheap to stay at places that like would make use of a Hilton Gold or a Hilton Diamond or things like that. So it wouldn't, I could use them, but like would I really be getting value from them? That's really my thing. So yeah, in year one to pay things down, absolutely, because I don't want to pay cash. But like keeping them, I think that would be the tougher sell. I mean, if I had a player too, back to our earlier question, then I could have seen keeping the Delta Platinum. I think it makes sense. I don't check a bag. Not to make assumptions, but usually player twos, check bags. I've been there. Companion pass, then it would make sense. But for me right now, no, I just don't think they're going to be keeper cards. I don't get enough value out of them to justify the annual fees. I just end up using them, because I have them. So, no, for right now, cash and carry, my friend. All right. Billy, hey RJ, I love your content. Well, thank you, sir. Because you love it, I'll allow your 2 questions. 2 quick questions. What's your best trifecta for cashback cards on personal and business side? Also, if you had to pick one CSF Chase, I'm going to guess it's a Chase thing, would it be personal or business card? Sorry, last one is, what's your take on the Citizens Bank Cash Plus card? I never hear anyone talk about it. Well, there's a reason for that. So, the best trifecta is, well, I argue it could be Citi. The Premier is just hard because that hotel credit is hard to use. Most of us will end up traveling at some point every year just because we're adults and you have to go places, right? So the Citi Premier is a good card. Double cash is fine. Custom cash is good. Some of my favorite cards. But the best cashback setup still has to be Chase, even because you get so much on the Freedom Unlimited card. Freedom Flex, again, rotating categories aren't for everyone. Sapphire Preferred you could put in there as well. But really, if you want just cash, then you could swap into the Ink Cash as well for your third card of just cash. Then you've got 2x back on gas, 5x on phone and internet, which is huge for everyone, 1.5 on everything. You've got some restaurants, you've got some travel, drugstores. So I still think it's Chase, honestly. This is one of Amex's biggest gaps, is they ignore cash back to a detriment, I believe. I won't get into that rant, but I think it still has to be Chase. Citi is very close. They're very close, and maybe like 1 card away. It's really more so that the Freedom Unlimited, yes, is 1.5 versus 2, but then you also get all these other things with the Freedom Unlimited where you don't with the double cash. It's also a fake World Elite card, which has always bothered me, and that should count for something. So I would still go Chase there. Citizens Bank, it's funny that you ask because they have a bonus right now that's a business account, $500 business account. And I saw it and I got super excited, so I booked an appointment because you had to do it in branch, and I was just in a Citizens Bank signing up for their business account. Citizens Bank accounts are great. The reason no one talks about this Cash Plus card is because it's 1.8%. I looked it up before this. It's 1.8% back on everything. It's not, if you want to bank with Citizens, and I've banked with a lot of people. I don't mind Citizens. I think their layout is decent. The banker I talked to was nice. I put her name on the blog post about the business, about the bonus. She was that nice. But it's 1.8 when everything else is 2%, and I don't understand why they went 1.8. Fifth Third does it too. They go like 1 point something, 6, 7. It's like you can do math, and it comes out to 5.3, which is basically their name, so it's kind of a little Easter egg, I guess. But if you just want to bank with Citizens and you want a card, fine, I guess. It's not that big of a difference, 1.8 versus 2, but that's why no one talks about it, because it's a 1.8% card. It's not even 2. Which, again, they're a smaller bank, so I don't think they're going to be ultimately super competitive, but you got to do a little bit better than that, I would think. And they did come out with another card, but I think it's on, some kind of they want it to be some kind of special tier card, but it basically just comes out to 2%, I think, as well. So, it's fine. It's fine. It's just not really that competitive of a card, and that's why people don't talk about Citizens that much. And usually, out of the top 5 of banking, we don't talk about them that much. So, but if you want it, it's not that big of a drop off. All right, Matt Kramer here, new to Amex, mostly focused on Chase. Good man. Previously, can a person get Amex Gold, Platinum, Personal, and Business and get the bonus for both? Yes, you can, because they are all considered different products. So the Amex Vanilla Platinum, the plain one, the Schwab Platinum, the Morgan Stanley Platinum, those are all different products. You could get all 3 of those. The Business Platinum, that's a different product. Same with the Gold. You could get all the bonuses. So yeah, you could do all of those, no problem. I usually tell people with the Platinum, figure out what your end game Platinum is, right? So if they don't offer you a retention offer on the Vanilla Platinum, then end with the Schwab Platinum, and then you have the cash out ability at 1.1 if you want. Morgan Stanley one's a little bit harder to get. I know Ben Hedges did a video on that, and they wouldn't even give him a straight answer on what accounts actually qualify. Schwab is easy. You just open a Schwab account. They're free, and you can get the Platinum card. I wouldn't get the Schwab alone for just the cash out right, but technically, because that gives you just a tiny bit more optionality, I think the Schwab is the one to end with. But yeah, they're all considered different products. Now, I don't think I don't, there wouldn't really be a reason to have multiples of them at the same time. But yeah, you can you can have all those if you wanted to. So I would say get the card, year number 2 retention offer. If they don't offer anything, you can get rid of it. Or the gold ones are a little bit different with the business. They're all the business. I think the business platinum's better. Not that you asked this. I think the business, their credits are easier to use. So maybe I go back to my original point. Just look at them all and figure out what your end game card would be, and then kind of rotate, because the core benefits are still the same. The gold earning is a little bit different, but figure out what your end game would be. But you can have all of them because they're different products. So that is one thing Amex does pretty well. All right, they hate me. Do you think there's a certain point where you have too many credit cards, limits to where it works against you? Not too many credit cards, but too much limit. I think we're starting to see some banks look at how profitable of a customer you are. This was the Citi thing when a lot of us, myself included, got denied with the Citi Premier. They were like, hey, you have too much available credit, which is a political way of saying you don't use the current credit that you have, so why do you want more credit? Now, you can get around that by continuing to use your credit. Let your statement close with a balance and pay off your balance, obviously in full. Then it'll at least show that you're using it. That could be enough. Too many credit cards. I tend not to worry about that. Yes, technically, your average age of credit will be crushed usually, but that doesn't really bother me that much. It's not that big of a piece of your credit. So no, I say continue to get cards. As long as you're managing those annual fees, if there are any, you're getting value from them. Sure, you can run into issues where some lenders won't extend you any more credit, but we know there are ways around that. You can recon in. Chase is good about this. I think they even prompt you in the app or an application if you need to reallocate some credit, so they're not taking on any more risk, but they're still opening a new account, which they get credit for. Then you get the cards you want. So I would say stuff like that, but I don't think it's too much. Amex has card limits, and you can only have 4 or 5 of their credit cards. But aside from that, if you're playing your velocity well enough so that they aren't concerned about how many inquiries you've had recently. But I've also started closing a lot of my business cards that I'm only going to use once so I can get back in line and churn them again. So if you have cards again, especially business ones won't really do anything. They don't report to personal anyways. If you have cards you aren't using, then I would close them just for that reason. But when I close them, like I closed my Ink Unlimited, I still rolled all that credit limit over to my Ink Cash card and then closed it, so the credit limit still stays the same. So no, personally, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Honestly, people have way more cards than me, and usually don't have an issue. So I think you're good. Anything worth doing is worth overdoing. Phoenix here. Will there be another credit card March Madness tournament again? Wow, it's so much easier when people ask, and I don't have to do the shameless plugging myself. Yes, there absolutely will be. So right now when you're watching this, we're in the final week of February. So the first full week of March, so next Tuesday, we will kick it off then. So if you don't know, Credit Card Madness is basically the channels play on March Madness. Well, instead of basketball teams, we have 16 credit cards. But the cards are picked by you, so the first opening round is a qualifying round where I get here are 50 different cards. You can pick your favorite 14. The Amex Gold card won last year, so it is automatic qualifying number 1 seed because winning should mean something. And then this year there's going to be a write-in. The 16th team will be a fan-chosen write-in. I'll explain everything in that Go Live video next week. There's a full playlist on the main page of the 2022 tournament if you want to refresh yourself. But yes, we're going to play it. We play it every year. I think it's nice, it's fun, it's not, those don't get the most views, but they're kind of for the people who, they're the true fans of the game, if you will. And it's nice to talk about something different for, a month of the year. We do 1 episode a week, basically dedicated to the tournament. Sunday will still be the same. Thursday will still be the same, but Tuesday will be our tournament show. And it's just a nice break before we get into what I'd say the busy season is when we get into spring and summer. So yes, it is coming back very, very soon. Thank you for asking. Glad you liked it. All right. Seagull. Currently have the Chase Trifecta and at 424 looking to build a good cashback setup. Which issuers do you think have a good cashback setup? Well, of course, obligatory. If you're at 424, make sure you've hit all the Ink cards because those are good as well. Ink Cash is a keeper, Unlimited, they all have good bonuses. But if you're good with those, I'd say the value of cash back is that you can cherry pick and you don't have to be locked into a system, right? So instead of saying, what's the best system, I would say, what are the best cards? Now, again, we kind of covered it. I would say after that, it's probably Citi I think between the custom cash and double cash. Could have been US Bank, but their redemptions still bug me being locked in to, the $25 increments and not being able to, redeem the way I want, so I wouldn't rank them there. Amex doesn't care about cash at all in the least bit, which I think is a mistake. So I would cherry pick. I would say, okay, I want the custom cash card. Maybe you want the autograph card. What else? Maybe you want a few business cards in there, Huntington Business Voice if you're in network for that. Maybe you want the US Bank Cash Plus card because it's still a good card. And I would go like that, just find the best cashback cards. Again, I'd be careful of the type of redemptions they offer. Again, other $25 increments or limits, what have you. Bank of America customized cash is a good one to have. So that's how I would do it because, again, that's why I like cashbacks. You're not locked in. But to answer your question directly, I think the next best cashback person is Citi. You could make an argument for Wells Fargo. I don't think they changed the redemption limit on the active cash, but the autograph is a good card. Active cash, and then see what else they come up with. But I'd go Citi, then potentially Wells Fargo, especially with built rewards in there as well, which is technically more of a travel card, but that's how I would look at it. All right, a few more here. Next up, hey RJ, keep up the great work. Appreciate it. End of last year, somehow got approved for the Ink Cash card despite being at 524 through Recon. Now I am turning into 5x everything. It's contagious. Any suggestion how to manage the many Visa, MasterCard gift cards that you buy from office supply stores with Ink Cash? He plans to use them for most expenses, groceries, things like that. At some point, plan to get a new upgrade. One of my Chase credit cards is Sapphire Reserve, so it's effectively get 7.5 for travel. Kids, family, got it. So what he's talking about is the Ink Cash is a 5% back on office supply stores, and you can go and buy those Visa Reloads when they go on sale. They waive the activation fee, and you can use those Visa Reloads on like rather regular stuff that wouldn't take credit cards, right? Like people like property taxes, insurance. Well, insurance will take credit card, but you know what I mean. I don't buy those that much anymore, to be honest with you. I hate to let you down. It's so much of a hassle. Unless you're going to use them in like everyday expenses, just carry them around. But even then, it's annoying because you go to the gas station, at least around here, you can't just swipe that. They want you to go to the counter and do it. Probably something about the machine not necessarily knowing how much money's on there. I tried to put them in PayPal, run them through PayPal Bill Pay. They decline every single time, even if you register the cards to yourself. You can't add them to Venmo, but because most of the time people like those to, liquidate very easily. You can still go get money orders with them, but some places don't like to give you money orders with them because it's, what you would do with a stolen credit card. So I really don't buy them that much anymore. If I had a big expense coming up where I know I could make use of them, then yeah, perhaps I would load up on some. But it's really just annoying. So when I did have them, I would keep them in my credit card wallet, and I would write down how much I still had on each card because, again, you end up with all these pieces of card, which is very annoying in its own right. Then I would just try to go through, check out with a person, at the store and tell them I get $22 on this one, $6 on this one, and try to get through all of them. But it's a good strategy. You just have to have the patience to do it. For me, it's getting kind of annoying, honestly, and I've been doing a lot more sign-up bonusing, hunting than anything else, but I really stopped because it's just so much harder to liquidate. They blocked all the ways just about to liquidate these things. So, if you got the patience for it, keep going. But that's what I would do. Just keep track of how much is on them. Use them in day-to-day where you're not going to get 5% back. Buy them when they're waiving the activation fee, and you should be fine. And yes, you'll get 7.5% back, and you'll be a better man for it. Don't lose the faith like I did, I guess. Last one, Baby Vilshire checking in. Let's see. He knows there will be a meetup in Las Vegas for September. Will you be there? He's 25. I don't drink much. I don't either. I don't drink at all. So there you go. We can drink Coke together, I guess. But I love to go to Vegas to meet you and the Points crew. Is there a crew that I don't know about? I'm super down to meet and chat Points and Miles. I'm based in SFO. So Luke's Points and Miles, he posted on his channel that he's doing a meetup in Vegas. I haven't been formally invited. I'm sure I could just go if I wanted to. I didn't have any plans to. I think I was talking about it the other day with someone. I'm a bad booker of things, as we talked about earlier, that I don't book things far out, which I know is bad for value and stuff. I really don't like being locked into things like, oh my gosh, now I have to do this. I'm not opposed to going. It could be fun. I'd have to leave my house and go outside, but we probably get some good video out of it perhaps. Put me down as a maybe. and check back closer to, when is it, like September, I think? Yeah, September. I just don't like booking things out, which I know is bad, but yeah, I potentially, I think it could be fun, and I think it's a good idea. It's cool that you're going. I don't drink either, so you don't have to be alone on that one. So yeah, put me down as a maybe. We'll see, but it could be fun. So let me know who else is going. If any of you guys know what he's talking about, or check out Luke's channel. He'll have all the updates about it. Put a link down below to that post for you, and let me know. Maybe if enough people convince me and yell at me that I have to go, then maybe I can do it for like a day or something. But it's outside, it's a whole thing. Anyways, I'm talking myself out of it. So anyways, that is all of your guys' questions, hopefully answers. Of course, if you need more detail, let me know down below, or you just want to chat about other things. Of course, consider checking out the channel every week, because we're posting content just like this, and of course every week over at profitablecontent.com, where we have news stories as well as latest credit cards and bank bonuses as well, if you want to try some variety. Anyways, guys, I already asked you all the questions, so just say drop me a thumbs up down below. Consider subscribing if you found it pretty interesting, and I will see you very soon in the next one. Thanks for watching.